Well, this is kind of crazy. We are obviously here today for a 5K Q&A. I hit 5,000 subscribers a couple of days ago, which is absolutely wild to me. That was like a wild number that seemed like so far out of reach, and then all of a sudden it was like here, and I was like, oh, ah. So I had done a Q&A at 2,000, but then I had said, like, I was like, oh, you know, next time like I reach like another like goal, I'll do another one, especially like with so many new faces here. So I was like, we'll do one at 5K. And time is now for that. So first off, I just want to start by saying thank you to every single person who's ever watched a video, liked a video, commented on a video, subscribed, shared my channel, anything, any way of support. I like will never be able to say thank you enough, because this is now turned into like a bit more of like a side job almost than just like for fun, even though it is still like completely fun for me. Like I don't ever feel like doing YouTube is a chore in any way, shape, or form, but it has been able to turn into like a little bit of a side job, which is awesome. Oh, a kitty has arrived. Okay, let me get comfortable here because we got quite a few questions here. So I asked on my Instagram stories and my YouTube community tab for questions. Obviously I film on my phone, so I did have to like type them into a document, but I have not like gone through and actually like answered them. So we're going to be doing them more on the fly here. Obviously I did see them, but I didn't like actually sit down and go through them. Let's jump in with the first one that I saw, which was, how did you get started on booktube? I started, my very first video that I ever uploaded that was book related was a Throne of Glass reading vlog, reading the entire Throne of Glass series. Those are my first two videos I have. I did them in parts because they're like so freaking long. I've always had a habit for long videos ever since the very beginning. From there, like I wasn't expecting to really turn it into like an actual channel. Like I just more kind of did those for myself. But then I started doing like monthly wrap-ups, and then that turned into like doing like a video in between monthly wrap-ups, and yeah, then it just kind of kept going. And then kind of to tag off of that, this one's like kind of similar, and it was, what made you want to start a booktube channel? What channels inspired you? So for that first one, what made you want to start one? I think it was a lot of boredom for me. Obviously I started during the pandemic when I was just at home all the time, and all I was doing was reading, and all I was watching was booktube. And I wanted to create my own content. I started seeing like videos, and I was like, oh, like I kind of had this idea for a video, and I started making paintings on TikTok, but I didn't really want to ever show my face on TikTok. So I was like, well, I feel more comfortable and safe over on YouTube, so I'm gonna start it over there. And I'm very happy that I did. I much prefer like YouTube. And also like those first two videos that I posted, like the Throne of Glass reading vlogs, those were like purely for myself. I also wanted to like hone my editing skills because I do have a podcast, Popcorn Chats, and I wanted to just be better at editing. And I was like, this is a way for me to kind of do that. And then my first Banned Forbidden Taboo reading vlog was like the first video that people started to actually notice. And then I was like, oh my God, people actually like are starting to see who I am, because I didn't have any way to promote it. I didn't promote myself. I had like a creeper Instagram that I would like look at all the other booktuber people, but I didn't like post on there because I was like scared. I didn't start promoting myself until like a year ago maybe. And then what channels inspired you? I would say like the early booktubers that I started out watching were Jess from Peace Loves Books, and also Jess has been so freaking supportive. Jess, I love you. Laura from Lovely Like Laura. I started watching them like early on to kind of like even just get like into the romance genre. They were like my two go-to kind of people, and especially Jess with like her consistent uploads. Like I just saw how like she was like so diligent, and like she still is always on point with her uploads and stuff, and that was like aspiring for me. I'd say too, with like content wise, Mary from More to Mary, I love and appreciate the way that she talks about books, and I strive to always be that like upfront and honest about that, and kind of like uncaring about other people's opinions and what they have to say about the books that I like to read. I'm a very sensitive person. But I read. Oh, Arya, are you okay? She tried to jump all the way to the top of the cat tree and did not make it. But Mary's just very like, she was just talking straight up about like taboo books, like fully admitting on the internet that she's like, this is about like a stepfather and a stepdaughter. This is about like an uncle and his niece, you know, like very straight up and honest. And I just always strive to like have that level of honesty. And I hope that I do have that on this channel, because I feel like I do. but I always want to be like very straight up and honest about everything that I talk about. Next, tips for a new booktuber. I would say number one, love the books that you're talking about. Like really find what books you are absolutely passionate about and talk about those. Do not try to just read like the trending books so that way you can like jump into the conversation or kind of jump onto that trend. If you love like the trending books, then go for it. But if that is not your speed, then like don't. Find what you really love and like promote the hell out of that and talk about that, because people will be able to tell when you're like really, really passionate about talking about something, and they will be able to tell when you're like not vibing with something, but you're like trying to sell it. That would be my other thing, is just be like completely honest. I know it's hard. I really do try to keep it positive here. I don't ever want to like rip apart someone's work, but also if I'm not vibing with something, I'll say like, you know, it just wasn't really for me. I try to definitely keep it more positive here. But yeah, I would just say be honest and definitely just be really, really passionate about what you're reading and talking about, because people will tell if you're being dishonest or if you don't like what you're talking about. Let's see. How is your name pronounced? McKay. It's short for Michaela. Like my full name is Michaela, but then like by accident years ago, I got the nickname McKay because the last two letters of my name were cut off on a sheet of paper, and all my friends were like, ha ha ha, McKay. And it's kind of stuck. And I started using it for my podcast. I had my podcast before I had this, and I started using it on there just like as kind of like a little bit of separation from like self and projects. So I kept McKay on here. And oh hey, it's McKay was actually like a burner Instagram account that I had like way back in high school, and then I was like, we're just gonna keep that. What are things you hate in romance books? I've been seeing people do this video and would love to hear your thoughts. I actually do want to do a video like this because I know Jess and Sam, and I'm pretty sure has Tori done one too now at this point, all done videos about things they hate in romance books, and I definitely do want to do one. I think I just need to like compile a longer list, but off the top of my head, number one thing is, same with Jess, I do not need long epilogues. I honestly don't even need an epilogue. Like, I don't need that. I don't need to see them happy. I don't need to see them getting married. I don't need to see them having kids. I can imagine that all myself, okay? Not every single person needs to have a baby in an epilogue. Also, I mean, I feel like everyone hates miscommunication. I really fucking hate that, especially as like an over communicator. I also hate whenever a female main character sees any other female in the book and is like, oh my God, she's trashy. She's trying to steal my man. I'm jealous. No. What underhyped books do you wish more people would give a try? I feel like this is kind of a hard question because like what is underhyped to me? Like maybe I just haven't seen people talk about these books, but maybe like a lot of people have read them. So I don't know. I think that's a hard question to be like, oh yeah, these are like for sure underhyped, because like people very well could be talking about them, but just like I haven't seen it. I guess for ones that I don't necessarily see in like my like typical viewing people would be Sweet Dandelion by Macaulay Smelter. That book deserves all the hype in the world. It's literally my absolute favorite standalone. Crash Course by Alyssa Wilde. I'm pretty sure that's Alyssa Wilde's debut novel, and I loved it so much. Also, Be Celeste I feel like is pretty wildly underrated, and like Dare You to Hate Me, her Lyndon Yu series is really, really good. Or just like Be Celeste in general. I love her. I know like I just saw a post by Penn that it's that they uploaded Tri-Six Venom to Wattpad for Pride Month, and I do think that Tri-Six Venom is like an underhyped Penn book. Like obviously Penelope Douglas is a very, very popular author, but I feel like Tri-Six Venom's release like kind of like came and went and a lot of people forgot about it, but I really love Tri-Six Venom and I think that's an underhyped Penn book. Would you ever consider writing a book? Let's just say I've always wanted to be a writer before I ever wanted to be a like book reviewer. What is the most unique romance you've read? Ooh, the most unique romance I've read. I don't know. I mean, like Ice Planet Barbarians, I mean, that's like unique for me and my reading taste, but obviously if you read a lot of monster romance, that isn't. Maybe I do love like the Wicked Villain series by Katie Robert because it's like Disney retelling, but like make it like a sex club. Like those are pretty unique. I don't know, The Dancer in the Masks by B. Page, that like their obsession duet that I just recently read, that was like pretty unique. That was pretty different than anything that I've read. Most anticipated 2022 release that hasn't come out yet. I have two. One is literally coming out at the end of the month and I'm so freaking excited, and that is Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. The cover just released today and this cover is fucking gorgeous. I'm so glad I went with the man covers when I was buying these. I do have two of the discreet covers, so I will complete that collection. Actually, I probably need to do that before they're sold to the publisher. So actually, shit, now I'm gonna end up spending more money. But I will for sure be buying the man cover of Twisted Lies. And then the other one, which there's still no release date, Lucia, I need it. And that is Out of Bounds by Lucia Franco. It's like a deleted scenes, kind of like epilogue book from the Off Balance series. And I need that. I need more Rhea and Cove in my life. Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl was just reading the Off Balance series, and she was like letting me know her thoughts as she went. And I was like vicariously living through her while we were reading that. While she was reading it for the first time, but I felt like I was rereading. And I'm like, you don't need to do a third reread. You don't need to do a third reread. You don't need to do a third reread. But I want to do a third reread of that series. Which new author you discovered this year that you hadn't had on your radar before picking their book up? I've read a lot of new authors this year, actually, which has been really good, really fun. The one that kind of sticks out in my head, I think because like, I'm making my way through her entire backlist right now, is Sarah Kate. The first book I read by her was Praise this year, and I loved it. And then I also read Eyes on Me, and Give Me More comes out next week, and I'll be reading that. Beautiful Sinner by her, which is a priest romance. Nikki from Nikki and Bookland and I are reading for our Out of Bounds book club. That live show is going to be Thursday, July 23rd at 8 p.m. We're reading that. And yeah, I'm really enjoying Sarah Kate. What's a book that took you by surprise that you thought it'd be okay, but you ended up loving? I think I've already talked about this before, but It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. It Ends With Us was my last ditch attempt for Colleen Hoover. I had read 2 other books of hers previously. I had read Hopeless and Confess years ago, and I did not really like either of those. I thought they were fine, but I didn't get the hype. They weren't the books for me. And then I read It Ends With Us, and I was like, this is my last ditch. I'm like, if I don't like this, then I'm kind of like done with Colleen Hoover. And I fucking loved It Ends With Us. That ended up being one of my favorite books I read last year. I've reread it twice now, and then like a few key scenes with my book club that I have with my friends. They wanted to read that one. What's a trope that you hate in a book you have read that has it and loved it anyways? I'd say I don't love love triangles, but I did really like Serenading Heartbreak by Ella Fields. I don't necessarily like older woman, younger man. I love age gaps, but I don't necessarily like when the heroine is older than the hero. But I do really love Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling, the first book in the Fallen Men series. So yeah, I'd say like those 2 books are kind of like the exceptions for those. I don't actually hate Surprise Pregnancy like everyone else does. So I don't like Secret Baby, but I actually do kind of like Surprise Pregnancy. Okay, so I had these 2 questions, which I did end up grouping them together when I was doing this, because I got who is your fave book boyfriend of all time and top 6 book boyfriends of all time. So I feel like we're just gonna answer those together. My top, that changes day by freaking day, mood by freaking mood. But I do feel like Reese from ACOTAR is just, he's a staple. He's always going to be there. He's a ride or die. I love him. So I'll maybe put him as number 1 just because I feel like he's been here the longest. Okay, he's been here the longest. So we're going to put Reese there, and then I get 5 others. Alex Volkov from Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I love my cold ice rage millionaire, billionaire man. Emmerich from Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. Probably Luca from Bound by Honor by Cora Riley. I love my Luca throat crushing man. I love you. Maybe Cole from Nice Guys Don't Win. Let's throw like a nice guy in there because I do have like a lot of psychos. But let's throw Cole in there. I do really love Cole from the second book in the Boys series by Macaulay Smeltzer. He is like genuinely like in real life, if I met a Cole, done. I'd be done for. Like that would be it for me. Where like, would I actually want someone who crushes throats in real life? Anyways, we'll go with Cole. So what was that? 5? I need 1 more. That's just so freaking hard. And I feel like I'm going to be missing so many people. August from Longshot. What am I saying? How did I forget him? August West from Longshot by Kennedy Ryan. Yes. That's a great list. I would love to, that's my harem. I want my own harem, and that is it right there. How did I forget my Lord and Savior, Richard Connor Cobalt? Just know, Connor, you are definitely in there. Who is your fave book couple of all time? Why are you doing this to me? Danny and Lachlan from Sweet Dandelion. Reese and Feyre from ACOTAR. I feel like it's got to be one of those 2. I don't know if I can pick between the 2 of them. But can you tell? I love a heroine who goes through a lot of healing and a man who's by her side. What can I say? And right here, I forgot Rose and Connor. I was severely lacking in this video. Do you have a favorite book of all time, or would that be crazy? Or would it be crazy to pick just one? That would be crazy to pick just one, but I will for the sake of this. I'm gonna make my own little categories for this because I feel like it's not fair. My favorite, like, just contemporary book of all time is The Spectacular Now by Tim Tharp. I'm gonna go like favorite fantasy, and I'm just gonna go ACOTAR. I love the ACOTAR series, but also Throw in a Glass. Oh my god, I forgot Dorian and Book Boyfriends. I love you, Dorian. And also my cat, Dorian. I literally named my cat after him. And then for like standalone romance, Sweet Dandelion. And then for like romance series, Off Balance series by Lucia Franco. Those are like all my faves. Probably won't ever be changed. I feel like those are just like cut and dry. Oh my god, I forgot John Logan for Book Boyfriend from The Mistake. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What's something you'd like to see done well in a romance that you haven't yet? I feel, obviously I know that there are books out there with OCD in it and like good OCD portrayal. I just haven't read one besides A Lesson in Blackmail by Katie Robichaud that I read, and I was like, oh, that's like good. But again, that was a novella. I'd like to see it more like fleshed out. But again, like there are definitely books out there that have that. I just like haven't read them yet. Or like I'm sure they're out there that have that and I just haven't read them yet. And also I don't know how like this could be done, because obviously in romance like you need the characters together, but I would love to see a long distance relationship in a book done well, because they are hard. I would like to see that. I would like to see a long distance relationship play out in a book that ends happily for once. What is one genre of book that you've always wanted to try but have been scared to? I don't actually think I have any at this point. I'm not really interested in reading outside of romance, to be honest. You know, I don't really think there's anything that I haven't tried that I'm like scared to try. I guess I haven't really read a ton of like paranormal romances, so I'd like to try more of those. It's more just mood reader problems and I haven't felt like it. What are your channel goals? Honestly, I feel like pretty good where I'm at. 5K was kind of like the last big mark that I was like really pushing myself for, and now that I'm here, I'm good. Like not like I'm good, like obviously I want to still like continue to grow and stuff, but I would say like it's not as important to me as it seemed before, like hitting like I felt like 5K was just kind of like a staple of being like I want to hit 5K, and now like I've kind of done things that I've wanted to do, and like I said, I am very sensitive. Like being on the internet is a bit of a scary place, and I obviously talk about some like taboo books, and like I like reading like very forbidden books, and I just never want to get to a place where I feel like my audience has grown too much where like I feel like I can't be as like open and honest about what I like in books. I don't know if that makes any sense. So yeah, I mean like I'm comfortable now with where I'm at with my channel, I guess. I would say one channel goal that I do want to do is I want to do like at least one author interview. I know so many other people do author interviews, but I would like to at least maybe do like one on my channel. But like I already started 2 book clubs that I'm very excited for, and yeah, I kind of like checked a lot of boxes already. I would definitely say I think like an author interview would be kind of like my last big like box I want to check off. How and where do you personally sit to read? I can't seem to find a comfortable position. I either read on my couch or in my bed at night, mostly laying down, sometimes sitting up. Yeah, I know it's not like the best for your posture, but I have horrible posture anyways. I pretty much just sit on my couch or lay in bed at night. Now this one was mean. Tori, you did me dirty with this one. So she asked me, if you had to choose between Anakin and Kylo Ren, who would you choose? That's just rude. It's just a rude question, Tori. I obviously am a huge Star Wars fan, if you don't know that about me already. And Anakin and Kylo Ren are 2 of my favorite Star Wars characters, if not my 2 favorite. They're my 2 favorite. But and this one was one that I did think about before I made this video, because I'm like, it's just hard, but I am gonna have to go with Anakin. He's my OG, okay? I remember when my dad pulled me out of school when I was in 5th grade and took me to go see Revenge of the Sith. Like, I remember that like it was yesterday, and seeing that, and like I grew up on the prequels, and then like I fell in love with Star Wars with the sequels, so I'm not as much of an original girl. I can appreciate them, I do like them, but I have much more of like a strong preference towards the prequels and sequels. But I mean, Anakin Skywalker was just like my OG bad boy. Like I have loved him for years and years and years, and as much as I love Kylo Ren and Adam Driver, Anakin Skywalker and Hayden Christensen, just like they've been there for me through it all. What beauty products do you use? I love the way you do your makeup. thank you. I pretty much use all like drugstore stuff because I just don't like to spend a lot of money on makeup. I'm literally sitting at my vanity here. This is where I get ready in the morning. I use the L'Oreal Infallible foundation. I use $3.95 because I'm a pale bitch. I also use like the Maybelline Fit Me setting powder. And then I use like a lot of ColourPop. So I use like all ColourPop eyeshadows, ColourPop blushes, ColourPop highlights. I use Wet n Wild brow powder for my brows. For bronzer, I do have the Too Faced chocolate bronzer because I like that one and I like the way it smells. And then I use the Lash Paradise for mascara. I have like no eyelashes, so that sucks. And then I love these, the Revlon, I don't even know what they're called. Revlon Super Lustrous, I don't know, but like these little ones. These like colors, I have 4 of them in different colors, but 007, which is glazed mauve, and 002, which is like nude, are my 2 favorites. But I have 4 colors of those because they're really nice. I know you can't put them into rankings, but which books are the ones top 5 you love? So like top 5 books. If we're just going books alone, I'm gonna go A Quarter Wings in Room by Sarah J. Maas, Sweet Dandelion by Macaulay Smeltzer, Twist by Lucia Franco, The Mistake by Elle Kennedy, and probably Always Been You by QB Tyler. Top 5. Top 5 right now. That's hard. Hideaway, Birthday Girl. McKay, what was wrong with you during this video? Again, only narrowing it down to 5, but best day you can imagine, describe it. I mean, right now, I really want to go to Disney. I wish I was in Disney. It's been a while. So the perfect day that I can imagine right now would be like getting to go to Disney for the day. Would definitely be at Hollywood Studios. That would be my perfect day. Would be just at Disney today. Favorite dark romance. I obviously read a lot of dark romance, but probably my favorite would be Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. It's dark, student teacher, BDSM, definitely check triggers on it, piano teacher and student. It's just so good. And it was one of like the earlier dark romances that I read that like just set the bar really high for me with dark romance. What is your favorite flower? I don't really like flower. I mean, like I like looking at them, but you know, like in my home, like I don't like have flowers ever in my home. 1, I have cats, and 2, I don't like I don't know. I don't like bugs. I don't like things like crawling out of them. But I'd say like I like looking at hydrangeas. I think those are pretty. But I love the smell of lilacs and sweet pea. Like those are like my 2 favorite like floral scents, I guess. Booktuber with the same / similar taste to you. That is like 100% Nikki from Nikki and Bookland. Her and I have like pretty identical tastes. Like I feel like if you like books that I read, definitely check out her channel because she reads very, very similar books to me. And oftentimes like when we've like buddy read, we're like always kind of on the same page with what we're reading. If she really likes a book, then I'm like, oh, I know I have like a really good shot at liking it. If she was kind of like so-so on it, then I'm like, I might like put that towards the back of my TBR because chances are I'm probably also going to be so-so on it. So definitely Nikki. Top 3 books of all time. Again, I feel like I've kind of already answered that. Yeah, I feel like I've already kind of answered that one. 3 fun facts about yourself. I don't know fun facts. In college, I worked on planning our like concerts, like our fall welcome concert and our spring comedy show. That was like my job. So like I got to meet like a lot of cool people. Like I helped book Trevor Noah, and then Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec was like the year that I was like solely in charge of the comedy show. So like I booked Nick Offerman for us. Leslie Jones was the 3rd person that I booked, but then I left for the Disney college program. So then I didn't get a chance to meet her. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's like a fun fact. All of my like different event planning. I'll throw it in again. I did the Disney college program. I just feel like that's an easy fun fact. And what is my 3rd fun fact? I'm 6 feet tall. I don't know. Is that a fun fact? It's a fun fact for me. If clothing shops, I am horrible. I hate shopping. I don't like picking out clothes for myself. I really don't. But then I'm always like, I have nothing to wear. This shirt I literally made. I cut 2 regular t-shirts and sewed it together. I guess would be like H&M. Like I just like really basic things. Like I'm not super girly. I just like have like a pretty casual style. So I would say like H&M. Uniqlo at Disney Springs. I love that store. I've gotten like a ton of my favorite shirts from there, and like I always have to go there whenever we go. Oh, like Rebel and Fleur. I got one of my like favorite shirts from there. It's my Playboy Anakin Skywalker one. It's like super nice quality and very cute, and I love it. So yeah, I guess like those. Favorite historical romance. I think I've only read 3, but for sure Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. That is just an incredible book, and I think she like potentially is maybe writing another dark pirate romance. Sign me the fuck up for that. Survivor top 5 people. Y'all know I am a huge Survivor fan, or if you don't, I love Survivor. I have applied every year since I've turned 18, and one day Jeff Probst will cast me. And I obviously have to narrow it down to five freaking people out of them all. I literally made, like, back during quarantine when people did presentations, I literally made a presentation on, like, my dream Survivor cast. Like, if I could cast my own season with, like, returning players. Oh, I'm a big old school fan because obviously I've been watching since I was a kid. So for sure, Parvati. I love Parvati. Cirie has been so fucking robbed. She was robbed in Micronesia. She was robbed in Game Changers. I love Cirie. Michaela from Millennials vs. Gen X. Then she was also in Game Changers. It's not just like same name solidarity. I fucking loved her. She was so smart. Like, you could tell that she was like clearly the smartest person out there. And that's why Jay was like, we got to get her out of here. But I loved her. And then like her hair flip when she voted out JT and like sipped from her tea. Oh my God, I love you, Michaela. Aubrey from Brains Brawn Beauty, season 32. I loved Aubrey. She's played then in Game Changers too, and in 38. And I loved her. She definitely got robbed in 32. I am like an Aubrey stan. I'm a big fan of like strategic players, and she was just like a very strong strategic player. And David from Millennials vs. Gen X. I loved David, and I loved his whole like transformation over the season of being like very nervous and like anxiety ridden and awkward on day one to being like a true powerhouse in the game. So yeah, I guess like top 5. Are those my top 5 of all time? I don't know. For sure, Parvati and Cirie, but any book you wish you could unread, like have never read at all. So I'm gonna take this as not like that you could unread so that way you could read it again, but just like never have it in your brain. I would 100% say R.I.P. by Charity B. That book I would love to never have read that and know that book. What was the book that made you fall in love with reading? I feel like I had a lot of those. I was like young. It was the Hunger Games. I was a big Hunger Games fan. And that was like what got me started like early on in reading. And then I would say like after when I read that was like my first ever romance book, and that like got me obsessed with the romance genre. And then I would say like ACOTAR like reinvigorated my love for reading altogether and got me like really, really like powering through books then. If you could only read one author forever, who would it be? That is a straight up mean question. One author forever, who would it be? Because right away I go to Penelope Douglas because they are my favorite author and so many of my favorite books. But the thing with Penelope is that they only release like one book a year. So then if I'm looking at like backlist, like who pumps, like Sarah Kate is pumping out books left and right. Fiona Cole typically pumps out books pretty quickly. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Penelope Douglas because I love their backlist enough. I love every single book that they've written that at least like I would never want to give up all of those books. And I know all of their new releases I'm definitely going to love. So, Penelope Douglas. If you could only read one book for the rest of your life, what would it be? One book? Well, I feel like I should pick a long one, so it takes me a while. Yeah, Quarter Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. It's the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series. It's my favorite book in that series. And I feel like it kind of has everything. It has like action. It has romance. It has like emotional moments. It's long. Maybe that book because it kind of has like it all in there, I feel like. Come say hi to the people, Dorian. Do you guys remember when I used to hold them up and they could like fit in the palm of my hand? Now they're big kitties. Oh my God. Give me your authors whose books are automatic buys. I got this twice. QB Tyler, Sarah J. Maas, Penelope Douglas. Anna Huang has turned into like an auto-buy author. I really don't have any interest in reading her like earlier series because I know those are like more YA, but like I've loved the Twisted series, auto-buy for all of those, and like her new series that she just announced, like the 7-book series that she's going to be working on next, like those are going to be all auto-buys for me as well. So she's turned into one for me. I'd say like 2 that I don't automatically buy their books, but I do automatically like add them to like my TBR and like immediately download in Kindle Unlimited are Macaulay Smeltzer and B. Celeste. I do like pretty much anything that they write I'm always like interested in and do add to my TBR to read, to like get around to eventually. What's a romance book you think everyone should read? I feel like that's hard because like what's everyone going to like? And typically like my reading taste isn't like everyone's reading taste. But I would say maybe too that like they definitely changed my perspective on things like in a good way are like It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover and Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I think because they just open your eyes to like the internal struggle of women in domestic violence situations. Obviously both of those books have triggers, especially Long Shot, but I would say like those two books really like they just gave me a whole new perspective on women in domestic violence situations. So I would say both those two books are like really good ones to read. What's the book that got you into romance? After by Anna Todd. I saw the After movie. I used to work at Family Video. R.I.P. man, R.I.P. And we got After in, and I took it home for like a pre-street. You could take them home before we could rent them out. So I took that home and I was like, oh my God, what is this? I like this. And then I looked it up online and I was like, oh, it's a book. I'm gonna request it from my library. Requested it from my library. I read that first book and I was like, there's sex in this? And like, this is just like about love and like a relationship and like people living their lives. Cause up until that point, all I had read was like YA fantasy and thrillers. And I didn't like, I was never like in love with either of those genres. And then I read that and I was like, is this a whole thing? Cause I truly did not know that romance was a genre outside of historical romance. I did not know that there was anything like contemporary, dark, any of those kind of romances that I know now. I know, guys, I don't know how I went that long in the dark, but I did. And then I literally bought the After set. Like I bought those books and I was like, I need to keep going. And I did. And I've never looked back. I've never looked back since then. What's the most taboo book you've ever read? There's been a lot. I would say like the most taboo, obviously I feel like what is the most extreme form of taboo for myself is obviously like when they're keeping it in the family. So I would say like Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma, even though that is like one of my all-time favorite books. I read Hail by Kay Webster, similar vibes to Forbidden with like the relationship. Tortured Whispers by Daniel James. I'd say any of the ones where they're like where they keep it in the family. That's what I consider to be the most taboo. Or else like really, really big age gaps. I think the biggest age gap I've read is probably The Truth About Tomorrow by B. Celeste. I think that's probably the biggest age gap. And actually probably Welcome to the Dark Side by Gianna Darling. I think that's like a 20-year age gap. I'm sorry, he just kicked you off, didn't he? Come here. He's so mean to you. Huh? Cause you're just little. We only got a few more left. Favorite Star Wars movie? I can't. Either Revenge of the Sith episode 3 or The Last Jedi episode 8. Like I said, I am a prequels and a sequels kind of girl, so I love both of those two movies. What is your job? And I got what do you do for work? I do keep that pretty separate because like my day job has nothing to do with here and here has nothing to do with my day job. I do work from home right now. I've been home ever since the pandemic started and I'm an administrative assistant, but that's kind of like all I get into. 3 of your top reads of 2022 so far. I've had so many great reads this year, but immediately what sticks out has always been You by QB Tyler, Twisted Hate by Anna Huang, Kiss the Sky by Kristen Becker Ritchie. What types of videos are your favorite to film? I love filming wrap-ups, even though it is like a lot normally because it's normally a lot of books to get through and they are pretty long. I just like being able to talk more about like how I felt about a book rather than trying to like give a really solid, strong explanation like in trope videos. But I also like doing fun ones, like my tier ranking one that I did. I really like doing that. I loved doing my 5 Seconds of Summer like album, the Calm album, and like book recommendations for each song off of that. That video like did not do well, and I knew it wouldn't because like not that many, like there's not a lot of crossover with that, but like I personally love doing that. I loved filming my Guide to QB Tyler video because I just love all of her books and I really loved being able to film that one. Okay, last question. What is your favorite student teacher book? I know that is your favorite trope. That is my favorite trope. Dark Note. Again, like I've already talked about them. Dark Notes by Pam Godwin, Sweet Dandelion by Macaulay Smelter, Unrequited by Saffron Kent. I love that one too. Those are probably like my top 3. I love all 3 of those. So yeah, that is all of those questions. Thank you so much for anyone who gave me one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I like watching people's Q&A videos. I think those are always fun. And yeah, just once again, thank you to every single person who subscribed and supported my channel here. It's wild. I'm glad we hit 5K and yeah, I'm just ready to like keep chilling and talking about books with you guys. So yeah, that's it for today and I will see you when I see ya.